Looking for these better days.
It is Wednesday, January 21st. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. More coaching news around the NFL. The Trench Report is out today for Championship Sunday. We'll give you a little teaser into what we are cooking up here for the AFC and NFC Championship games. And our first free play handed out up on betterday.com, cashed yesterday in the NBA. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mac, let's talk about the Better Day free play of the day. So this is a new thing that we are starting to do up on betterday.com. Whether you are a subscriber or not, you can go to the website, and right on the homepage is going to be featured our free play of the day. It's going to be one play, short little write-up, just give you a little something here. And yesterday our free play was on Buddy Hield to go over 8.5 points for the Golden State Warriors last night. Mackenzie Rivers, Buddy Hield went over 8.5 points. So a free play of the day cash on betterday.com.
Yes, sir. And he had played one game without Jimmy Butler, but with Steph Curry, and he had 8 shots. And I said, that's a pretty good profile. You give me 8 shots, he's going to score 9, 10 points. Well, he went 7 for 8, 6 for 6 from three. A lot of time, a lot of that in garbage time, but we do not care. Money cash is just the same. And a lot of people I remember calling some of those 1-800 hotlines will be like, oh, well, we don't care about the free play. We're just trying to, talk to you and show you our premium stuff. Our free plays are premium stuff. It's just a sneak preview of exactly what we're doing for our subscribers, just to give you a little taste.
Absolutely. So we will feature something up on the website every single day. We'll have a link to it in the newsletter. Although by the time when you read the newsletter, it's not going to be out like at the same time. So you just got to make sure that you'll see the date is clearly listed there. If you go up on the main page, you'll see like January 21st play of the day. Obviously, you're not going to play the January 20th free play of the day. So make sure you check the date and you'll be good to go. Last night, Mackenzie, you cashed a best bet winner on the Houston Rockets, a 111-106 win and cover against the San Antonio Spurs. Houston rallying from 16 points down to pick up the win last night.
Yeah, and I had my built-in excuse in the first quarter already. The Spurs started 8 for 11 from three, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to win if they're going to shoot 80% from three. They ended up shooting. The Spurs did 14 for 50, so arguably it went all the way on the other end. But my handicap was that the Rockets defense was well constructed to stop what the Spurs were going to do. Game goes under, Rockets win. I'll take it. Move on.
Exactly. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, yes. Oh, speaking of the Rockets, also, they did say that I think Steven Adams is going to be out for a little bit of time now. He did have an ankle sprain, and so he's going to be out indefinitely. That was announced before the game yesterday, so something that we'll have to monitor with the Houston Rockets. Elsewhere last night, it was the Suns, a 116-110 win over the Sixers. Lakers beat the Nuggets 115-107. Luka Doncic with a triple-double, 38 points, 13 boards, and 10 assists. I know we've talked about the Nuggets before, Mackenzie, playing without Jokic and watching all these other players, rise up and capture their moments. At what point – I mean, they're still good in the standings. Like,
Yeah.
there's no point where you're looking at this team wondering, like, how far can they fall or, what they have to do before Jokic comes back.
No, they needed to go 500, and they've done better than that. 6-4 in their last 10. They are well positioned to be the 2 or the 3. Won't really matter that much because it means you're not going to face the number 1 seed until the conference championship, and that is their goal. That is the heavyweight match that we're all anticipating: Thunder versus the Nuggets, and they've done very well.
Mhm.
However, I have to say, as Zach Lowe says, at this point, I don't think you can really split out who's better, the Thunder or the Nuggets. Slow down. Take a little chill pill because nothing they're doing right now is showing their top end potential because they're going to have to change everything that they're doing, incorporate the number one player in the NBA, the number one usage guy, the guy that changes what you're doing on a daily basis the most. So, I mean, he's going to fit in. He's Nikola Jokic, but I don't think it's just like add 10 points to what they're doing because that's how good he is. Some of their role players aren't going to be as featured. So they were up most of this game, blew a 15-point lead. Yeah, it's going to happen when you don't have the best player in the world.
Yeah, so it was their 12th game without Jokic. It was also their 11th game without Jonas Valanciunas and Jokic together. So missing both of their big men. And the reports last night were that Valanciunas is likely to return before Jokic. So still a chance for Jokic to come back next week or maybe first week of February. So just everybody waiting and seeing there with the multi-time MVP and see if he plays enough games to keep him in the running for some of these awards, because that's something that you do have to track as well. Let's take a look at the schedule for tonight, Mackenzie. You got the Cavaliers at the Hornets, Cleveland, a 2.5-point road favorite. Pacers visit the Celtics, Boston laying 10.5 at home. Nets visit the Knicks. The Knicks 11.5-point favorites over the Nets, and I have to just ask this question. Do the Knicks deserve to be 11.5-point favorites over anybody right now?
My power ratings make it 12. It's right there. But have I downgraded the Knicks enough? They're only 2 wins out of their last 11. Their defense has been struggling for a while. Their offense hasn't been the same since the tournament. This has all the makings of a get right game versus somewhat of an inner city rival. Um, I think the bleeding stops here. So I'm not sure if it's a play, but my first thought would be this is a get right game for the Knicks.
Okay. Grizzlies take on the Hawks. Memphis -2.5. This is Memphis's first game back since the European trip. So they had the two games against the Magic in Berlin and then in London, and now they return now. Is this a possible fade spot for the Grizzlies considering the return from Europe?
It makes sense. I would just say the market is seemed to be well adjusted for it because I have the Grizzlies as significantly better than the Hawks at this point. Two teams going in opposite directions. The Hawks, really without Trey Young, have had not have an offense. So I would think it would be four. The fact that it's 2.5 tells me that they're well aware of the fact that they're going to be out of sorts, as it were.
You got the Pistons, 9.5-point favorites at the Pelicans. Thunder, 9.5-point favorites at the Bucks, Mackenzie, with a total of 226.5. What do you make of that one?
I kind of like the Thunder here. So here's my thinking. Jalen Williams, ostensibly the second best player for the Thunder, has not been that this year. Since he's come back, the Thunder are 8 points worse on offense without him. He's announced out before their Martin Luther King Day game, and they score the most points they have in a couple of weeks. They dominate the Cavs on the road. I think they're just at this point more comfortable without Jalen Williams. They're going to need him to beat the Nuggets and the Rockets and to be the best team that they can be. But right now, today, I think they're slightly better without him. They just have a machine that's a little bit hitting on all cylinders without him.
And finally, one other game, the Raptors at the Kings, and Toronto 4.5-point favorites. All of these lines courtesy of our friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Last night, we cashed a system play kind of in college basketball. Now, we teased this on yesterday's show, wrote it up in the newsletter. The best bet was number 20, Arkansas, who was a 1.5-point home favorite over number 15, Vanderbilt, and closed, though, as an underdog. So it actually did not go into the database as an official system play, but it didn't matter. Arkansas blows out Vanderbilt 93-68, so we cash a best bet winner there in the college basketball top 25 schedule. I'm taking a look at the schedule for tonight to see if we have any possible system plays, and the answer is no. So we keep an eye on this as we move throughout the college basketball, schedule, which is going to be really exciting. We have an exciting college basketball partnership coming up later on this week that we'll let you know about. So you guys want to make sure that you tune in for the latest going on there in college hoops. NHL last night, what a heartbreaker for us, Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Multiple bets on the Kings Rangers game that came to a crashing halt with 25 seconds left in the game. We had the Kings on the puck line against the Rangers. We had the Rangers team total under 2.5, and we had the game to go under the total, which was 5.5 throughout portions of the day. It was 6. So if you had the 5.5, you were already a loser, which I did. I was already a loser at under 5.5, but some of our followers had under 6. So at 4-2, you were pushing on that number of 6, but you were cashing on the Rangers team total to go under 2.5, and you were cashing on the Kings to cover the puck line. Well, the Rangers scored with 25 seconds left to lose 4-3. So Kings get the win, Rangers get the cover, Rangers go over 2.5 goals, and this was a 2-2 game in the first period. So I thought the bet was dead from the first 20 minutes. Then the Kings scored 2 unanswered in the second period. It's 4-2, and no goals were scored for the entire. Well, it was like half of the 8 minutes in the second period, and then the entire third period. Rangers pulled the goalie with like 3 minutes left, and with 25. So think about that. We avoided all the empty net chances by the Kings. We avoided many opportunities by the Rangers, but then with 25 seconds left, it was a goal that goes in. So bummer, we lose there. But the Rangers now fall to 0-8, playing on the second night of a back-to-back, and 1-7 to the over. So that was the first game
Uh,
that went over last night between the Rangers on the second night of a back-to-back. Got some good games on the schedule for tonight on the ice. Again, all of these odds courtesy of our friends over at the FanDuel Sportsbook. The Colorado Avalanche. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Maybe. Avalanche are hosting the Ducks. Avalanche are minus 300, total of 6.5. More fun will be the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings, an original 6 matchup where the Maple Leafs are a minus 120 home favorite. You got the Flyers at the Mammoth, Utah minus 162. Islanders visit the Kraken, New York minus 120 on the road. Penguins are at the Flames, Pittsburgh minus 118. And the Capitals visit the Canucks, Washington a minus 164 favorite. All right, let's get into the NFL, the latest in the coaching carousel, plus a little teaser for our Championship Sunday Trench Report.
Every Friday from 6 to 7:30, it's NBA Happy Hour on FanDuel, your pregame for the weekend. We're talking limited time specials you won't want to miss. Boosts, bonuses, surprises, all dropping in the app during happy hour. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app to see the week's special. Then, make your move before the shot clock expires at 7:30 Eastern. It's the perfect way to start your weekend. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and older and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccp.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
NFL coaching news yesterday. Mike McDaniel withdraws his name from consideration for the Cleveland Browns head coaching position. And then a little bit later in the evening, we find out that Mike McDaniel is going to be hired by the Chargers to be their offensive coordinator. What do you make of this decision for him to forego a head coaching interview and instead become the OC underneath Jim Harbaugh there in LA?
it seems to be the number one pursuit of everyone that's in coaching is to be a head coach. But maybe he likes just drawing up plays, looking at video, the stuff that helped him create an offense that no one's ever seen before. Maybe he's better served, and maybe he knows he's better served focusing on that in particular, not having to do all the press conferences and et cetera.
I think it's a good move for him. I think sometimes with these coaches, you need to take a step back and then kind of bring back the shine to your star a little bit, right? Which might have been faded after some poor performances here. Although it's like every year they had a second half surge.
Yeah, they finished
So
8-9. Yeah, not too bad. But it's I think going to be jarring and I think very positive for the Chargers to go from Greg Roman and the type of stuff that he wants to run versus how much you can open the playbook up with Justin Herbert when you have Mike McDaniel and everything that he brings to the table.
Yeah. It's interesting. What do you think now happens with Greg Roman though?
Um, I don't know. Does Fox need somebody? Does NFL Network need somebody? I'm not sure. I mean, did he impress? Like, I don't think the Chargers offense was talked positively like once the second half of the season. I know it was the offensive line, et cetera, but it seems kind of like a square peg in a round hole. The last two stops he did, he the Ravens and then the Chargers, they kind of went much more pro heavy, much more passing oriented after he left, bringing it in somebody that's more modern.
Do you think maybe reuniting with John Harbaugh and becoming the Giants OC?
I could see it. I mean, does that work for Jackson Dart? Maybe it does. I mean, he likes to battering ram his head into places, so Greg Roman is very pro that.
Well, I mean, some people also speculate that maybe Todd Monken comes with with John Harbaugh and becomes the
The
OC of
Giants.
the Giants. Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll have to obviously keep an eye on that to see more coaching news. And there's still some other coaching openings, excuse me, that are waiting to be filled. We'll get to those as they present themselves. Latest odds here for Championship Sunday: the Patriots still 5.5-point favorites at the Denver Broncos, total of 42.5. And the Seahawks, 2.5-point favorites up on FanDuel over the Rams with a total of 47.5. Trench Report comes out 9 a.m. Eastern time here up on betterday.com, as it does each and every Wednesday. And what I decided to do for this week's Trench Report is I dug a little deeper, Mackenzie, into these teams and into prior Trench Reports. So not only did I give you a breakdown of the two games that we have, and it's not going to surprise anybody who we have with the trench advantage because we've talked about this before. The Rams and the Broncos are our trench report Super Bowl, right? So obviously the trench report still likes the Rams and the Broncos over the Seahawks and the Patriots, but you'll have to read the full trench report to see exactly where the edges are, how significant of an edge it is, like in the rushing or in the pass rush, things like that, and what, which running backs you might want to target, which running backs maybe you want to fade. But here's what else I did. I went back and I looked at some of the other trench reports, specifically, ones in the playoffs, because I did want to compare playoff teams, right? And what I did was, and you'll read this in this week's in the trench report, is I wanted to look at similar matchups. Are you following along here?
Yes, sir.
So, like for example, I wanted to
You
see.
mean close matchups, like
No,
when it's close? Similar
no.
matchups.
I wanted to look back at the trench report results of the teams that are currently in the championship games and what the trench numbers say about the championship games, and look at games where these teams had similar trench report results. So, for example, we look at the Denver Broncos, right? The Broncos just played the Buffalo Bills. Prior to that, they played the Chargers. Prior to that, they played the Chiefs, right? And so on and so forth. So I looked at the trench report numbers for the matchup numbers for the Broncos versus the Patriots. And then I went back at older trench reports to see which Denver Broncos games had similar trench numbers. Same thing for the
Right.
Patriots games. And then then you can look at the results of those and see if it played out. Right? So now we can say, oh, hypothetical here, because I'm not going to spoil anything. You have to read the trench report to figure this out. But let's say Team A has a 20-point rushing edge over Team B. Well, let's look at the last time Team A had a 20-point rushing edge over anybody. And then what was the result of that game? What was the result of the running backs? You see where I'm going with this?
For sure.
So
Similar environment. We should expect similar results.
exactly. So, an expanded, detailed trench report here for Championship Sunday in the NFL. Available to Better Day Insider and Premium members. To find out how you could become a Better Day Insider or Better Day Premium member, just click on the link on our homepage up on betterday.com or the link in the newsletter, which will show you how you can elevate your betting game. And as a reminder, we are starting to do our free play of the day, which is up on the main page, up on betterday.com. As always, our NHL and NBA databases are there, the NHL Game Center, and keep it locked in to see what we have in store for college basketball as well. You can always hit us up on social media. Make sure you follow Better Day on all of your socials. Well, not TikTok because we're still banned, but we're working on that. And no, it's not because I showed anything, It's just the way the algorithm works. Anyway, for Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.